Welcome to the Football Guru Show, episode 1. I am your host, Curtis. Over there on the seat on the sofa, we have Anthony, aka the gassed up Gooner.
Everyone's favourite, come on.
And we have Steve, aka Mr. Malteser, aka Super Hoops for Life.
I'm getting there.
Okay, so obviously we just finished watching the England-Germany game. It's Monday night. One of England's last games before the World Cup. I think they got
the last one.
The last game.
The last game. A couple warm-up games probably, but the last proper game before the World Cup. And it concludes a run of England for no wins in 6 and 3 defeats out of the last 4. So that's where we're going to start today. We'll jump in on a little bit of a review and look ahead to England's World Cup prospects. So, Anthony, I'll throw it to you first. After watching tonight's game, what do you think of England's World Cup prospects?
Well, aside from the Euros, I've never really had that much hope in England because, as an Arsenal fan, I know never to get your hopes up because it will always end in bitter disappointment. So, I do believe we'll make it out of the group, but I'm pretty sure if we finish our group first, we have an easy first knockout stage, and then we've got a pretty hard run into the finals. So I think we'll win our first knockout game, so we'll start around the 16, and we'll go out in the quarterfinals.
But I mean, so you reckon a quarter-final run for England in the World Cup, which is it's a safe bet, I would say.
Yeah, we're not going to do anything special this time around. I don't think we've got the minerals. Maguire doesn't look to shell of the man that he was playing for England, the colossus at the back that we once had. I feel like Sterling's kind of lost it in front of goal a little bit as well. But who knows? You know, tournament football is very, very unpredictable. So for all we know, these men could all find form. But given the fact that like 2 out of 5 of our backline aren't going to be playing much club football, I just don't know how sharp we'll be on the first game. But with that being said, I would like to throw out that Jude Bellingham looks very good. That's about it, really.
Look, this World Cup coming up is all about the management. Has Southgate got the balls to make the tough decisions? There's certain people that got to get dropped. He might give them a game or two in the group stages to assess, who's in form, who's not in form. First of all, he's got to pick a squad, and that squad he'll have to. Things like I would take certain risks. I don't think we need 3 goalkeepers.
That is very risky.
It is risky.
Is it though? Is it? Because when do you ever see a situation where you need all 3 goalkeepers?
Yeah,
really?
but you got to cover your bases, man. Let's say a freak accident happens, you make it to the quarterfinals, and for some odd reason, one goalkeeper he's gone down before the tournament starts. The next
If he goes down before the tournament starts, you can replace him.
No, I'm saying like on the plane in the friendlies or something like that. And then a next goalkeeper gets his head smashed and he's got a concussion. Now what are you gonna do?
Listen,
because I'm not happy playing Harry Maguire in goal.
Right. So I'm gonna say this now. Well, Carl Walker might go in goal because apparently he's supposed to be half decent. Ideally, you don't want any of that. But do you really? Look, I'm saying he's got to make some big decisions. I think he should look at the balance of the side. So clearly, he wants to play a back 3, and he wants to certainly against the better teams. He wants to sit in and hit them on the break. If you're going to do that, you need the players to do that. So at the back, I think we probably. If you're going to sit back against the best team, then you're not going to need masses of pace. But what you will need is set piece situations. So that's why there's no doubt about it. Maguire's going to go. the question then is, does he need to play? Right? Does he need to play in any given game?
I don't think he should be starting for us.
Right.
I mean,
So, and I'm with you.
going off today, he looks very sloppy on the ball. When he does lose the ball and he has to go one v one against an attacker, his body shape is all wrong. That's what led to the first penalty, those two incidents. But you could see throughout the game as well, he clearly lacks confidence, and that is something that you can't afford to gamble on.
He's still hitting some nice passes, and he does some, on the ball. He's still quite good.
No doubt, he's a good player.
Number one, we have to play that way because of him, essentially. And Southgate's insistent on putting him in there. So this is what I'm saying. It's all about the management for me. Number one, style of play. Number two, motivation. Number three, personnel. What personnel does he pick? And tactics. Because a lot of these games, especially against the bigger teams, it's going to be about tactics. You saw a game tonight where England tried to sit in and hit Germany on the break. And by and large, in the first half, it was successful. We just didn't make the best of the opportunities that we had. In the second half, especially when the subs came on and we went 1-2-0 down, we actually forced the game. And we looked better for it. Now, to me, when you're playing Germany, I don't think you need to be sitting back on them. You can expose them for pace up in their backline. But you have to have the right players to do that. And I don't think we've quite got that, without, and I know you're going to go on about it, without Rashford, we don't have that burst to
Rashford's biggest fan.
to clear, to go clear in those situations. Sterling leads, he seems to be that player now which likes to, tippy-tappy, knock it about, work a bit of space, all that. When what we need is greyhounds flying down the wheel.
So I think that you're both right in a sense, but I actually think today's game really just encapsulated everything that England are under Gareth Southgate, and the exact problem that we're going to have with this World Cup is that cowards is maybe a very blunt way to put it.
Sorry, we're a cowardly style of football.
Yeah, it's just that we're two. It's not even that. We're 2-0 down. We rally back, get it to 2-2, get it to 3-2, and you're like, oh boy, this is that is what England are capable of. Going and scoring 3 goals in like a blitz of a 5-10 minute period because you've got such quality on the field.
Yeah.
But then it's the and Dad, you pointed this out in the game. It's the mentality of you've now gone 3-2 up. You sat back. But it's not even like you're in Italy where you can sit back, but you're just rugged defenders, you're organised, you're tenacious. You sit back and you just look so soft and nervous that it's like...
Well, the thing is, they equalised so quickly, I didn't really have time to notice.
But you could see it straight away.
We missed what they rode one challenge. But
think about the goal, right? When that challenge gets broken, the difference is look how far off everybody else was. It was so deep. It was so deep. It should have been 5 yards off the pitch. That ball breaks, another person's onto it.
Exactly. You should have been hunting in packs to get that ball back, and so there'd been 2-3 players around to try and win that ball back. And they did. And but I could see Southgate. I was watching him. When we went 3-2 up. And him and Steve Holland were almost imploring the players, get up, so push up. But they just
said cowards.
You can't. It's
cowardly
not.
Mentality.
Either it's not been coached into them well enough, or I know because you see so many teams do it. So many teams do it. It's almost natural to sit and invite pressure. And it's the wrong thing to do, especially for England. They can't do it, never have been. So this is what I'm saying to you, tactics are going to be important. So between now and then, they have to work out, right, if we're going 3-2 up and there's 10 minutes left, this is how we're locking down a game. Right? This is how we're locking down. And when you say defend deep, right, if they're going to invite pressure, but you've got to hunt the ball down because, as you rightly pointed out, Reece James, he was alone on the right-hand side. So they managed to break that tackle. And then all of a sudden, the guy's got a run in on goal. He had an easy pass to the ex-Arsenal player. And
Maverick.
Yeah. He gets a shot on goal, all right. Ultimately, it's a mistake.
Pope spilled it.
Pope, that's just rubbish.
Shocking.
That's just rubbish. Even a youth goalkeeper you would expect to
I don't know, man.
do better with that.
Don't get me wrong, I agree it was a terrible mistake, but I feel like you lot are ripping into him too badly.
Bro, that's an awful mistake.
Yeah, but Serge Gnabry has a lethal right foot. Listen,
Yeah, but bro, it wasn't a lethal shot though. Yeah, it bounced in front of him, but it's like as a keeper at that level, you have to either make one of two calls. It's like you know what, it's bounced just in front of me. Let me just push this out for a corner,
which is what you should have
live to fight another day. Or if you're gonna like try and catch that and gather that in, you have to gather it in.
You have to.
He probably faces a shot like that every day in training and gathers it in. It wasn't some kind of super dipping, skidding off a wet floor. Like you know what I mean? Like
that was a routine save.
Gnabry caught that ball very, very well.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he went straight to him. No, I'm not saying it's flying into the top corner.
But it's not. But you're saying it was hit with some mad pace and that. It wasn't
hit with venom, man. He connected with that ball very well, but it went straight down the keeper's throat. If I was that keeper, I would have tried to palm it out. But better safe than sorry. Just palm it out and let one of your defenders deal with it. And he went to go and catch it, which is fair enough because for most players, when a shot like that is struck at you, you would expect your keeper to just catch it and hold it. But he caught that ball very well, and he's a good striker with the ball. So I'm not surprised that he had some trouble dealing with it.
Not having
but nonetheless, it was a bad mistake.
Would you not agree though that a keeper should be able to catch that shot?
To save it comfortably.
Yes, but I also have to say that I have some level of understanding or sympathy for him because I know Gnabry is a very good striker.
I'm not going to do this Gnabry ball.
Yeah, but bro, you're acting like he stuck it in the top.
You know what? Let's move on. Because Anthony's wrong. He's defending the indefensible.
I'm not trying to defend it. But you lot say it. I'm not trying to defend it. You lot say it. You lot are trying to make it seem like I'm saying that it wasn't a bad save and it wasn't a terrible mistake. Of course it was. It wasn't. You got to have some sympathy because it was a good strike. It was a very good strike.
It was a half decent strike. It should have been comfortably saved. End of.
Looking ahead to the World Cup then.
Yeah.
Dan, what do you think the prospects for England are at this tournament? Where do you think England can go and how do you think they can get there?
My worry for England is I'm not worried about them getting out of the group. I think they will have some problems because they always manage to manufacture some kind of problems. But eventually we'll get out of the group because it's we've got to play USA, who are not in good form.
Is it Scotland or Wales?
Wales, who we should beat. And I think that will probably be our toughest game because everybody knows everybody. We've got Iran, something like that. I mean, come on, right? So yes, look, you don't get to the World Cup finals without being a decent team. So they're all going to be decent teams, and England being England, they will make it difficult for themselves. But I expect us to get out of the group. After that, it's knockout football. And in my opinion, given England's history, you have to prepare for penalties, right? And I'm picking players. Gareth Southgate went part of the way during the Euros towards thinking like this, in that you have players to come and take penalties. For me, Ivan Toney goes. You find a place for him in that
more
team.
of a case.
Yeah, you know what? Dominic Calvert-Lewin's not, been fit enough and all the rest of it. So there's a free striker slot in that squad.
Yes,
he's played well. He does deserve it.
And what you do to get him tuned into the game, you have to give them a bit more time. Like if it looks like it's going into like penalty situation, extra time, that kind of thing.
You got to give them half of.
You can't just bring them on to take penalties. Tony's probably the one player who might, because he has a certain way of doing it. But other people need to feel the touch of the ball and give him the second half of the game or something like that.
Come on, Cole.
No.
Then again, Saka came on in the second half of extra time in that finals, and his penalty was still rubbish.
Yeah, well,
or it wasn't rubbish, but it was safe.
Look, I just think for somebody like him, a huge pressure penalty, it will stand him in good stead going forward, I feel. Because, next time it happens, you've been there, you've done that. It will help him. It will help him. So don't worry about Saka. And I also noticed he's taking penalties for Arsenal.
Penalties you can get on a bad run. Last season I scored every penalty I took. I scored about 7 penalties. This season I've missed 2 in 2 games. So
Jesus
look, man, it's just,
what the hell is going on?
You know what? It's just early season rust. It happens. My penalty record overall in life is not too bad. It'll come back. But the first one I blame.
Can I just say, right? Well, I used to take penalties. I've only ever missed 1.
Allegedly.
I feel like you didn't take as many penalties as me, man.
Probably not.
I've always played
never used to
teams
get
that
as
get
many.
ridiculous amounts of penalties.
I still remember those Wickham days when nobody could take a penalty half the day. But I'm just saying. So what do I think we'll get to? I think we'll get out the group, and then it's knockout football. And I just think if he's brave with his substitutions and personnel, we'll do something.
Yeah, you know what?
Semis, maybe.
I agree. I'm going to go quarters with the potential to get to the semis. But do you know what? I think it's the Winter World Cup is going to be a brilliant thing for Harry Kane. I think by the end of the season, he has so much wear and tear because he's that guy for Spurs, he's that guy for England. The pressure's always on him to create and score goals. It's a long season for him every year. But it coming in November, I think we're going to see for the first time a dangerous Harry Kane at this World Cup. And if he is the guy that I believe he's going to be at this World Cup, then we're always in with a shot. Always.
Listen, but he needs some backup.
I don't see us.
Right? The likes of Rice, the likes of Bellingham, the likes of Sterling, the likes of Saka, the likes of Foden. They need to start scoring some goals for England. Right? They need to start pulling their weight when it comes to that. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Just before you say it, just to add to that, I saw a stat today. So England's goal scorers at the moment in the starting 11 who started tonight, you've got Kane who's got 50 or 51 now. The next highest was Sterling with 19. After that, there's no one with more international goals than Harry Maguire with 7.
Yeah, I was going to say, I bet you any money he's a defender because of the set pieces.
He only really scored from set
which is what and he's the most dangerous person at set pieces. Another reason why he's going to go.
Which is what I was getting to before. I don't see Harry Kane being that important because the way I see us scoring most of our goals will be from set pieces and from counter-attacks. I don't see us really imposing, especially when it gets to the knockout football, I don't see us imposing ourselves on so many teams where we can get those many chances off at goal. I think we'll sit back, we'll play like we did against Germany in the first half. We'll sit back, we'll try and win the ball in dangerous positions and just try and spring them in the counter. Which is why, as you said, the likes of Sterling and Foden, when they're running on beyond and Kane's going to have to play those 3 balls in, they need to be clinical. They need to have their shooting boots on.
For sure. Get Rashford on, get Grealish on.
Does Rashford come?
Any given point.
Does Rashford go? Can we just have like a quick shout?
Yeah.
I'll fire a few names, a few like left field names, or a few names in contention. Tell me if you bring them to the Euros or not. Marcus Rashford. Do you think he gets on that plane? I know you would.
Yes.
But do you think he gets on the plane?
He has
Definitely.
Yeah.
Jack Grealish.
Yes.
Jadon Sancho.
No.
I want to see how he does between now and November.
Jadon Sancho. The reason I say no, love him as a player, but this system is not for him. It's not for him.
Jared Bowen.
Dark horse.
Yes.
Dark horse.
Yeah. I'm going to say yes if there's space. If it comes say between like him and Ivan Toney or Tammy Abraham, then I'm taking them two.
Oh, you've just taken my next one, Tammy Abraham.
Yes.
What's his name? James Ward-Prowse.
Yes.
Because
set pieces.
No, I know you would have him,
my-
but do you think Gareth Southgate's bringing him on the plane?
No, I don't think he will, but I think he should, because I'm going to have 5 players in that team
Who can take penalties?
who can take penalties, and he's one.
Yeah. And my last one, Calvin Phillips. Do you think he's coming on that plane?
If he's fit.
I think if he's fit, Southgate will bring him because he likes him. I wouldn't bring him because he's not been playing, he's been injured. So I personally wouldn't, but I think Southgate is now under pressure and he wants to stick with the guys that he knows and he's worked with before. And so if he's fit, I think we'll see Calvin Phillips there.
But I think Calvin Phillips has now officially lost his place in the team
As a
today.
starter. For sure.
Yeah. Bellingham, if he's fit and well come the World Cup, he starts ahead.
It's him and Rice.
And he's played. And see, these guys, they must understand. Make moves for your
England prospects.
Yeah. I'm going to say this because I don't. This money thing, everyone's getting paid well. So whether you're getting an extra 50 grand or whatever, come on, man. Most of that's going in tax. Go somewhere where you're going to be playing, where the England manager can pick you. But why are you going to sit on the bench at Man City?
Do you not
That's
think
a
there
waste
might
of
be a
time.
slight bias towards playing Champions League football as well? Maybe not in Calvin Phillips' place because he was a nailed-on starter pretty much.
Yeah, he's done the hard work.
But
He's
for
got the team.
other players, let's say an Ivan Toney, for example, he moves to top 4, top 6 side, and is playing regular European football, but he's not getting regular minutes in the league. Do you think that's a better move for his career? So although he's got less game time, he's playing European, exactly.
Or conference.
Yeah, they're getting held to a higher regard because they're playing European football. No. You don't think that's a
The
factor?
only way it's worth it is if you're going to a we'll call it the top 6, whatever, top 6 team, and you're playing for the first team in big European games. That will give you all what you need. Otherwise, go abroad. Do what Tammy Abraham's done. Do what Tomori's done.
Look how well that's worked out for him. He's not even in the England team.
You know what I'm saying?
He's
in the squad.
Is he? Was he?
He was there tonight.
Was he?
He's in the squad. He didn't get a game because, as Curtis pointed out, I think Southgate wanted to win this game.
He needed a win, bro.
And he's going to play Kane. He's going to, if they were 2-0 up, 20 minutes ago, he might have got a run.
Anyway, let's move ahead and look ahead to the weekend's Premier League fixtures because the Premier League is back. We all do dread international week a little bit, but Premier League's back and we've got 2 of the biggest derbies in the league this weekend. So Saturday we've got North London derby at the Emirates. It's a big weekend for some people on this show. And then we've also got the Manchester derby on Sunday, which if you had spoken about this a few weeks ago, you would have thought, oh, geez, United are in for one here. But now the prospects look a lot different in the red half of Manchester.
Old Trafford or is it at the Etihad?
It is at the Etihad.
Oh, okay.
Which I actually think suits United better.
They had their results there have been decent. If obviously you haven't got it in front of you, but if you look at United's results over the last 4 or 5 years at the Etihad, they've done all right.
Yeah.
It's at Old Trafford that they seem to get slapped.
Because Ten Hag started doing this, and Mourinho had tried to do it, got Kane for it. Solskjaer started doing it, but then had to progress. He's playing on the counter. He's playing on the counter. And every United manager who's had success in recent
audience. Thinking Boston Celtics.
Emo Udoka's in my head.
He's in the mind. What did that guy call him?
Inside jokes for the viewers who don't watch basketball.
All NBA fans here.
We all got that one.
But for the United managers who have been successful, it's been the periods when they've played on the break. They sat back,
Yeah.
absorbed the pressure, and hit them on the break with Rashford, Martial.
Because their team is set up for that.
Yeah, it is.
And again, one of the reasons for that was Harry Maguire. Because you don't want to play too high a line. When they play the lesser teams, they have big problems because they have to push up, they take over the play, and then they're vulnerable with balls over the top and so on. They've been exposed time and time again, and it's mainly Maguire. When they play the better teams, they sit. It's easier for him. He can watch all what's going on in front of him because they play the back four as well. Remember that. And one of the things Maguire does really well is his passing out from the back, and he can initiate attacks and so on. And that is what United's team is almost set up for that. The personnel that they have and so on. It's going to change slightly because they've brought in the likes of Sancho and Anthony, who I think will, give them a bit more attacking threat when they're dominating games. But they still, they probably still lack that killer striker. Even though they've got Ronaldo, they've got Rashford and whatever. But Rashford is a guy, he's never been that good in those type of scenarios. He needs space in behind.
He's a counter-attacking player.
Yeah. So,
And dare I say, a one-trick pony.
So let's dig into United a little bit more then, because I think obviously City's story is the Haaland story. The guy is just an absolute beast, but we knew this coming in. It's not.
I'll be completely honest with you. I was slightly surprised because I did not imagine he would just walk into the Premier League and dominate it the way he did. Like every other league that he's played in has been a bit of a joke league, in my opinion. Like the Bundesliga, well, it's the Bundesliga. Every game finishes with about 4 or 5 goals on each side because everyone plays such a high line. And then the Austrian league, I mean, come on. So other than watching him slap goals in the Champions League, admittedly against good sides, but Dortmund could never really progress that far in the competition. I was slightly sceptical. There was no doubt that he would be a great player for City, but I did not expect him to walk into the league and score 12 goals in 7 games. You know what I mean? So I'm a little bit surprised. I'm slightly surprised, but at the same time, now that I've seen what this guy is capable of, I think he's smashing all sorts of records while he's going to be here. Maybe not Shearer's, but I think
he'll smash Shearer's if he's here long enough.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I don't think he will.
I don't think he will be. I've got a funny feeling this is a few years, then he's off to Real Madrid.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Mbappe is going to go Real Madrid, I think.
He might, yeah.
So then where does Haaland go?
You got to think,
maybe
the
Bayern.
Mbappe thing, right, you got to remember, them sheikhs don't like losing top players. They will throw money at it.
True.
Yeah, they will throw money at it. So, and they've done that already to keep him at PSG.
Yeah, stupid.
Yeah,
stupid.
so I can see a situation where Mbappe stays there. Especially if they're winning.
Yeah, if they're getting Champions Leagues, then I think he might stay.
Yeah.
If they're doing what they continue to do and just fart arsing about in the Champions League, then he'll be off at some point.
Yeah, we'll see.
But yeah, I mean, United are the more interesting story. Obviously, they had an absolute stinker of a start. And I was very much loving it. The top United hater right here.
Who was it, man?
Always.
Brilliant to see, man.
But yeah, obviously now we've sort of the season's gone a little bit longer. United got a good win against Arsenal. They've had a couple other good results. Good win against Liverpool, and now the air around United is much different. So, is there any chance?
And is the reason for that the fact that the manager has made some tough decisions?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think they were tough decisions, though, Dan. Like. There was no world where if he drops Maguire and they continue to be on this poor run of form, that he's going to start getting loads of stick from the fans and from the media. But there was no way a load of fans were going to be on his back like, we need to start Maguire. Maguire needs to be started, because I don't know a single Manchester United fan that was clamouring and protecting and defending Maguire. everyone was on his back.
Right, but you still
So it
got
was
to
a
make
fairly safe decision.
Look, Maguire's not been great for a while, but managers have always been picking him.
Until this season, they ain't had any other better choices. It's either Harry Maguire or Eric Bailly. Or David, well, maybe not David.
No,
not David, but
I know you mean.
What's his name? Victor Lindelof. Do you know what I mean? Who is pretty much the same.
And they have
kind of
tried.
player.
They have tried.
Yeah.
But obviously they bought somebody, and they still had to make that decision because he's always been available. And then Maguire's always been available. So whereas Varane, for instance, he's had injuries and what have you. So, but he had to make a decision, and he also dropped Luke Shaw.
Yeah, but again, people on his back, man.
And the guys that have come in and done well for him, they've done well. Look, we'll see what happens with Man United. I wouldn't say it's a false dawn, but
not
regardless, I still would tip City to beat them comfortably. And for me, it's just because
when we do our predictions,
whether they take them or not.
when we do our predictions, I guess we'll get to that.
Yes,
but just on my last thing, I think United they have a good manager in charge running the ship right now. I do really like that Ten Hag. I've liked him from when he was at Ajax. I know you lot are a bit sceptical because he's not done it in the Prem yet.
Yeah,
but I think he plays good. I think he plays good football. And
he's being pragmatic at the moment.
Yeah, but you have to listen. He's any student of Pep Guardiola tends to be a good manager. Just look at Arteta. Came in at Arsenal, played a very pragmatic style of football, and realised that he had to evolve from that. But unfortunately, he didn't really have quality players to evolve from. Whereas United, they've got talent around the squad. But
we'll see how that.
I just wanted to get that out there that I do really like Ten Hag, and I feel like they are moving in the right direction with him at the helm.
Okay, I think the wheels will come unstuck as they always do at United, but
And is he any different, really?
No. Because here's why he's not different. This will be my final point. Here's why he's not different. Because everyone was like, oh, he plays this brilliant football from Ajax. Oh, he's such an amazing coach, blah, blah. In a team with the best team in that country that always wins the league all the time.
I'm pretty sure before he won the league at Ajax, they hadn't won the league for 5 years.
But listen, bro, it's the biggest club.
Maybe less, maybe 3.
Bro, it's like Gerrard going to Rangers, and winning the league with Rangers. It's like, well done, you stopped Celtic winning 10 in a row, but you still won the league with Rangers. It's no crazy accomplishment that makes him some elite manager, right?
But what kind of great manager does make those kind of crazy accomplishments these days, where they're winning league titles with a complete.
Well, listen, I would say Emery winning the Europa League with Villarreal is more of an accomplishment than Ten Hag winning the Eredivisie. And so that's all. I say that just to say that he came in, definitely. But he came in with way more hype than he deserved, and I think that people's expectations of him will be levelled out of it. That's not to say he's a bad coach. But I just think that, honestly, I wanted him
as a manager over Arteta when we were looking for replacements for Emery. I wanted him over Arteta. But obviously...
but you have a lot of stinkers, and that's probably one of them.
I don't. I just see football in a different light than you lot, man.
For real.
You clout chasers, man.
Who's a clout chaser?
Yeah, man. You just go for managers with bad clout.
You just go for the flavour of the month, bruv.
How is Ten Hag, who's managing the biggest club in Holland, who win the league most years,
didn't win it for 3 years before.
Regardless, right? They're always going to get back because they've sold off a lot of players. So,
he sold his whole team. He sold his whole team twice, and still managed to maintain a level of dominance. And I'll be honest, it's less so his accomplishments in Holland, and more so the way that I see his teams playing in the Champions League. Much worse sides than a lot of the sides that they come up against. And yet they play great football. They hold themselves to a certain level. So I believe that if you can translate that kind of style of football to a club of the size of a Man United or a top six, it can bear some good fruit.
A typical Arsenal fan doesn't care about winning, just cares about the style of football. Anyway, let's get on to...
And you know that's not true as well.
Let's get on to...
You know that's not true as well.
They just need a few more years of not winning Jack.
Oh, listen, no one wants United to do shit more than me.
No, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about Arsenal.
Maybe, or us.
Right. Anyway, let's dig in on Arsenal, because North London derby, I know Anthony must be very nervous because Spurs haven't really hit top gear yet. But they just look dangerous. They look like they're going to be a difficult side.
They look like they've got a plan.
And I feel like
they have a plan for top.
It feels like the pressure is a little bit on Arsenal because they're at home.
Yeah.
And Arsenal have had a good start.
Yeah.
And you know you're not going to go to Tottenham Stadium and get any points there.
Well,
I'm sorry, just be real.
Let's see.
You haven't won away to Tottenham in like 6-7 years.
And they haven't won away to us in something like 15, 17 years.
So from the jump, would you take
a draw?
Like basically what happened last year?
What?
You win at home, you lose away.
That's what I expect, but I'll be completely honest with you, as an Arsenal fan, losing to Spurs in any game is unacceptable.
Okay.
I would respect that. I would like for us to win at home and then get a draw away. Well, in a perfect world, we do the double.
Yeah.
But in a good world, like I'd be very, very happy with a win at home, draw away.
All right. So what I'd like to explore.
But I expect us to.
How do you expect Arsenal and Tottenham to approach this game? Because I feel like the tactics in this game is going to be all important.
Really, I don't think either side is going to play any different to how they've been playing.
So you think Arsenal will try and dominate possession? Because
we don't play any other way other than trying to impose ourselves on teams.
Okay.
Which is a bit of a gripe that I have with Arteta because it shows a little bit of tactical inflexibility. And as for Tottenham, what they do best is probably what hurts us, is probably the best way to play against us.
Yeah.
We play a super high line, and especially if Partey's not playing, we are very, very open in the middle of the pitch, in the middle of the park when we're attacking. So we're very, very susceptible to a counter-attack, and in my opinion, there's no better counter-attacking side in the Premier League than Tottenham. So I think Tottenham will rock up to the Emirates and try and sit back and play their football and yada yada yada. And Arsenal will push up really high and press them really high and try and impose themselves. What I think this game will be won and lost will be in the first 30 minutes, because in the last few games, I want to say like the last 3-4 games of the season, Tottenham haven't started any of these games very well. They start quite slowly, quite sluggishly, but luckily they haven't been punished to the degree that they should be, maybe because that they're playing teams a little bit below par. Maybe not, you could argue maybe not Leicester, but they've been awful this season, right? So my hope / expectation is that we do what we've been doing all season and starting really, really well, barring that game against Fulham, but we impose ourselves on them. We get in their faces, we get an early goal, get a second, and then maybe they'll start to come back in it a little bit more. From that point on, I'll always feel comfortable 2-0 up against at home against Spurs, because they'll get rattled. If it starts getting a bit shaky, we can bring on Rob Holding to shore things up at the back.
What, and he gets sent off again? Yeah?
Hang on. Listen. Yeah, I'd like to drop a little stat for you, but
we know the stat you're going to but go on. Yeah.
When Rob Holding comes off from the bench, and we go through that back three, there's 3 centre backs, kind of sit-in formation when we have to defend the league. We have not conceded a goal. Not one.
In how many minutes?
Not one. To be fair, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't. But we don't concede. When we go into that and we decide to lock it up, we don't concede.
Okay. So see, I'm thinking that Arsenal, the best way for them to be successful in this particular game is to turn the tables on Spurs. Let them have the ball, because then you'll have a bit more space to play. And I feel Tottenham have become experts at
counter-attack.
Well, because they've got bodies in and around, and they defend very, very well. They pay attention to that detail. I think it'd be hard for Arsenal to break them down, and they will be so open to the counter.
I would agree with you. I agree with you, Dad.
Turn the tables on them.
I agree with you, Dad. But my only thing would be that, number one, we are sure as hell is not going to play like that. And number two, I feel like Tottenham won't come on to us at all. They will genuinely sit back and let us have possession.
Yeah, I think it's important to note as well, this game is the 12:30 kickoff.
Yeah.
And so I think that
Those
the
games
worst
never
thing,
start well.
the worst thing that Arsenal can do is give into that and have that flat start and let Tottenham just settle into the game nice and easy.
It's a derby. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, but listen,
It might be
man,
better
I'm saying settle into it by derby standards. If this game was the 5:30 game, everyone's up for it. It's loud, like it's rocking. It's the 12:30 game. Everyone's still chanting, everyone's still singing, everyone's standing up. But it's not quite the same. It takes half an hour to just boil up to that point.
But you know what it is? You know what it is? What they need to do, and this goes for all 12:30 games, wherever it's being held, open the pubs earlier. You know, 9 o'clock. Open the pubs earlier. Because then you'll have the same amount of drinking time before the game. And you'll be fired up for it. Because that's the problem. That's why the 5:30 games are so much more rowdy.
Yeah, for sure.
Because people have been drinking all day. Fans will turn up to the pub same time as if it was a 3 o'clock game.
Yeah.
So they'll be there from 1 o'clock. Then you're thinking, right, okay, I've got 4 hours. By the time 5:30 comes, bam! This is what I'm saying. They should make an announcement that in the London Borough of Islington, pubs opening 9 o'clock on Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, mate. It makes, and the ground can sell drink and, 2 pieces of jerk chicken, you're ready to go.
Yeah, man. Most expensive pint in the Premier League, I'm pretty sure we have.
Is it?
Actually, no, second most.
Most expensive season ticket as well.
Yeah, I think Tottenham have trumped us now.
Oh, really? That's crazy if that's true. That's crazy. But, all right, so that brings us nicely then to look ahead to the weekend fixtures in general, and we will do our round of predictions for this week's Premier League fixtures, featuring both of the derbies. So just to explain to the audience first.
The watching millions.
The watching millions.
It's like The Rock.
So you get 3 points if you get the correct score. So if you guess that Fulham are going to beat Newcastle 2-1 and it's a 2-1, then you get 3 points for that. You get 1 point for the correct result, i.e. win or loss. So you bet Fulham 2-1, but Fulham end up winning, but it's by a different score. You get 1 point for that, and obviously no points if you get neither. So the 5 games this weekend that we've got are Arsenal v Spurs, Palace v Chelsea, Fulham v Newcastle, West Ham v Wolves, and Man City v Man United. So, who wants to go first?
Go on, just shoot. Give me the fixture, and I'll give you the score.
So first up, 12:30 kickoff. Oh, 3-1 Arsenal. 3-1 Arsenal.
Because Harry Kane will score, Son will get a penalty through diving. It's a foregone conclusion in the North London derby. Happens every time.
Okay.
Do you think Son will start actually?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So then you've got Palace at home to Chelsea.
I'm gonna go 1-0 Chelsea.
Okay.
Are you supposed to be making a note of this? Because
I'll watch it back on the recording.
Okay.
It's alright.
There's only one in it.
You've got there's video evidence in it.
Yeah.
You've got Fulham at home to Newcastle.
Fulham at home to Newcastle. I'm gonna go 1-1. 1-1.
Okay. West Ham home to Wolves.
See, West Ham, they've not been in great form this season.
But neither are Wolves, to be honest.
Yeah, Wolves are awful. It stinks of a 0-0, but you know, I'm gonna back West Ham and say 1-0.
Okay, and then so you got 2-1 else, and then finally on the Sunday you got City at home to United.
This is a bit of a rogue one. I'm gonna say 3-2 Manchester United.
Okay.
They're gonna do us. They're gonna do them like they did us, man. I'm telling you.
All right, Dad, you're up. Arsenal Spurs.
2-1 Arsenal.
Okay.
The results are never in doubt, really.
It is, but
It definitely
it's
is.
definitely in doubt.
Palace at home to Chelsea.
I fancy Palace. I'm gonna go 2-1 Palace.
Okay, that's the first bold prediction of this round.
Listen, Chelsea ain't been in great form, but I just feel like Graham Potter's gonna want to get a win under
He's
his
gonna
belt.
want to get one.
So
But it's
that doesn't mean he's
Palace at
getting
home is
It's
always.
a tough fixture, man.
Yeah. I feel like Palace can.
Wait,
get
what
after
time?
them.
What time's kick off?
Those are 3 o'clock games.
Lucky.
Right, so
Don't want to go.
Fulham, Newcastle. Fulham at home to Newcastle.
Bear in mind, he's a
Something-
QPR fan, isn't it?
Yeah, no, don't worry. Listen, this is business. I'm gonna go. 1-0 Newcastle.
Okay, and then we got West Ham at home to Wolves.
0-0.
Told you. It stinks of a 0-0, that one.
And then City at home to United.
2-0 City.
Okay. So I am.
Come on, Curtis, bring us home.
I'm going 3-2 Arsenal at home to Spurs. I think there's goals in that game.
Always.
Um,
Someone will get sent off as well.
Someone or something?
Might be Richarlison. I'd put my money on Richarlison.
I'm gonna go 2-1 Chelsea away to Palace. I think Aubameyang's gonna pop up with a little back post tap in or something. Palace are a good team, but they have this thing where they can play well and still lose.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to happen to them against Chelsea. Fulham at home to Newcastle. I'm going 2-1 Fulham. Fulham at home, I don't think Newcastle will win that.
Cottage.
Yeah. I'm also going 0-0 West Ham Wolves. That seems like a game with no goals.
Stinks of a 0-0.
That's the 5:30 game. Yeah. Whoever's stuck watching that, I feel for you guys.
That's the last game on Match of the Day.
Yeah, 100%. And then finally, I'm going 3-1 City to beat United. And
So I'm the only person that won with United.
Yeah, I'm not having it. Maybe a draw, but I'm Haaland, man.
Yeah, like, there'll be goals, yeah, but I just feel like, but the way that they hit us so peakly on the counter attack, and the way that City play an even pretty much as high or an even higher line than we do,
Yeah.
I think they can get done.
The key to United being successful in that game
is playing Marcus Rashford.
Yeah.
As much as
I feel because that is the weapon.
he is, he's
That
gonna
is
have
the
to.
weapon.
He's gonna have to
And
turn up
all
and
those,
and the
all those
Anthony's, and
constituent
the Brunos,
parts,
and the Ericssons, they're all gonna have to.
Yeah, they're all going to play their part, and Ronaldo and what have you. But that's the key.
Will play a very important.
That's the key.
But-
Because City do play high line, and they can be exposed like that. We've seen it.
At the end of the day, Haaland's going to score 2 goals. And if you're asking me to take United -2, I'm not taking that. So that's my take on it.
What did I say? 4-2.
You said
3-2.
It would be interesting, though,
3-1, 3-2,
if
2-1. I
City
don't know.
allowed Man United to come onto them, because I feel they would have a
Oh,
field
they
day with that.
destroy them. They
I
destroy them. But Pep's ego in it.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
for sure.
But we have reached the end of the episode.
Time flies.
Time flies, man. 50 minutes already.
Time flies.
So,
Now you only let it be 50 minutes rather than an hour 45, innit?
Wow.
yeah. But yeah, we'll tune in next week to find out who has to do the forfeit for getting the worst pick of the results. But for now, I'm Curtis. That's
I'm
Anthony.
Anthony.
That's your man Steve. Till next time.
Good
Peace.
night.